This week on Waifus Weekly, we're gonna explore these beings known as anthropomorphs, or colloquially known as furries. Sometimes they're also referred to as beastmen or demi-humans, but for the purposes of this video, we will be focusing on the mammalian population. But if a certain subspecies stands out, there might be a dedicated Waifus Weekly episode coming soon. So what is a furry? They are a people who seem to be anthropomorphic animals, so they have plenty of human traits on top of their species-related quirks. So what makes these waifus unique? Well, that's why I invited the guest of this episode. Of course, that is the lovely, sparkly Starlight. Welcome to the show, and would you kindly tell us about yourself?
Hello. So as you just said, my name is Starlight. I am a celestial fox, and my main thing is art, but that's not why we're here today.
Yes, we are here to talk about, furries or anthropomorphs or demi-humans, beastmen, whatever you like to call them.
All the fuzz and fur, got it.
Exactly, yeah. All the mammalian ones, at least for now, because we're gonna reserve those other special ones for another time. So, to start off, what do you think makes mammalian anthropomorphic animals unique, like compared to other waifus?
Unique? Probably the amount of fur that gets everywhere, if I had to say. And the different things on mammalian creatures that can either get in the way or help express emotion. So things like tail wagging or getting your tail caught in a door.
Okay, that's fair. That probably happens a lot to like some people who just started living with furries, huh?
Yeah.
I've heard. Well, of course, normally, the ability to transform is a case-to-case basis. I've seen that some beastmen in some media has the ability to like transform into a more beastly form at will. One of the examples is, of course, brand new animal. That's it. Where they can become a more beastly version. Do you think that this would be a pro or a con in terms of like living in human society? Or at least societies that are more civilized, I mean.
I guess it would depend on the role of said beastman or furry. If they could take on more animalistic traits and changing in physical appearance, if they needed to do something like chase down a bad guy or use more of their attributes to sniff out a crime scene, I could definitely see it being more helpful there. It could probably also lead to larger than normal fights, of course. There could be instances of things getting a little bit out of hand, but if handled well, I could probably see people using that change in attribute to their advantage depending on their situation.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I actually do recall like one very specific scene from Love, Death and Robots Part 1, the season 1 I mean, wherein they showed, okay, I do count this under furries, but this can very well count under werewolves. But generally speaking, it is the lore of the world is that werewolves have become like a part of the military for obvious reasons. But the thing is that they are not armed or not like they are sent in as a special unit to like, because they're werewolves. Of course, you would send in the werewolves to like fight battles. But in this case,
physical strength.
Exactly, physical strength, the agility. But what they pointed out here was them being able to sniff out snipers. They could sniff out like where if there was like a large cache of gunpowder or like a specially oiled gun like nearby, and that's actually what helped them like find a sniper, along with the fact that they also have better eyesight.
Absolutely.
They have better eyesight. They detected where the sniper came from. So knowing these things, of course, it makes sense to put them into battle, but they probably have more more useful traits.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. Like, if you have a furry who works on crime scenes, then they can sort of sniff out for clues better, trace certain scents for different people that they might be looking for.
Yeah. But because of course there's Waifus Weekly, we have to point out that this can also help in like normal everyday to day life. One example I like to point out is of course the abilities of many mammalian species to have night vision. Well, one of the species I like to point out is of course the cats, and if I recall, foxes also have night vision, right? Or at least like a type of night vision. So this would help in case of like a power outage. Like, okay, I know this Waifus Weekly, but if a girl has a boyfriend who's a fox man, and there's a power outage, and he also works as a mechanic or an engineer or something similar to that, he'll easily be able to fix something without being encumbered by a flashlight.
Yeah, exactly.
And if eventually you guys have kids, he won't be pissed at his son to hold the flashlight properly. Isn't that like the one cliche that always happens, like helping your dad out in the car, shouting at you for not holding the flashlight properly?
Yeah, no, I definitely get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But
sorry.
yeah, and then even just sort of the specialty, like you were saying, with figuring out all the electrics and everything, and then also the detail of being able to see things far, able to spot anything. Like if there's things that you have to do that are really far away, hard to see, having that extra vision. Although I know that there are some animals who have a more form of a color blindness, so I would hope that wouldn't get in the way if you're trying to like cut electrical cords.
Yeah, that actually does make sense. Like, okay, I suppose it makes sense if you're going to, like, for example, a like SWAT team, or I mean not SWAT team, a bomb disposal team. And it's nice to have like at least one dog beastman on the team to like sniff at the bomb, but you shouldn't let him also cut the wires.
I give that to another person. Hand the job over at that point.
I don't know, like give it to maybe like a being with like remarkably great eyesight. But I'm actually not sure like which species does not have color blindness, because I know of some, but they are crustaceans and they count as a different type of beast person, I suppose.
Probably.
What another thing that I actually found interesting was how some species are actually very well in tune with the environment, like in such a way that their fur can actually they can detect like differences in the environment just based on their fur.
Yeah, kind of like a sixth sense in a way, sort of being able to feel the changes in atmosphere.
Exactly, and that's why in some places, one which is a documentary I watched before was happened in Guangdong, China. I think I could be wrong, but in the zoo, like 3 hours before at the zoo, they saw like the elder pandas like start to freak out, like the old pandas. They start freaking out, and 3 hours later, there was an earthquake and a landslide that killed 2 pandas. So they definitely had an attunement with the environment to like know what was gonna happen. So if you have a waifu or a husbando with the same trait, that would be very useful, especially when you live in an earthquake-prone region like Japan.
Yeah, absolutely. I know similar story. I believe I've heard of like if you're on a beach and dogs are probably going to, if they feel that same thing with a tsunami or bad weather, they are going to head for higher ground.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Well, that's really cool, because I know that there are plenty of animals, well, plenty of insects at least that can detect this. It's just after like reading more into this, it's amazing. Like, imagine this kinds of traits on a waifu or a husbando or a creature that you have romantic relations with. Just their ability to like predict like certain things to help prepare for it. Just out of a feeling.
And then they're just like, we have to leave right now.
And
right
then, like,
now.
yeah. We have to head to the basement right now, and then there's like a freaking earthquake. Which, fun
It's
fact,
like you're
it's
at a
actually,
restaurant and they're like, but I haven't paid the check. It's fine, we're leaving.
it's fine. This restaurant won't be around for long. But yeah, that it makes so much sense. Also, I recently found out that there's actually a certain scent that people excrete when they're lying. So you cannot lie to a demi-human. Potentially, of course.
Not easily, but on the
Not
flip
easily,
side,
yeah.
on the flip side, a demi-human is so crystal clear about how they're feeling, you know? Like,
That's true.
if she says that she's fine and she's doing this, that's not really, you know?
Oh, that's adorable, yeah. Are you fine, babe? And then she has her ears down. Yes, I'm fine. Oh no.
I mean, we're so clear in how we communicate, you know? Like, we can sense who is lying, but we can't really hide our own emotions. I mean, if we know something's up, it's very clear. We are alert, we are aware. If we're angry, we're gonna let you know.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got like your tail between your legs, don't bother us. That kind of thing. It's so clear that you don't have to guess with any of it.
I'm just imagining like a bunch of these like well, because most of my viewers are human males, so potentially if they really like to have a cat waifu, which I did already make a waifus as kind of Waifus Weekly like early on about cat waifus and why I think they're not a great waifu. Well, added onto this is that if you have one potentially, and she has her like tail up and frilly, you know she is pissed at you. Like for some reason.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to guess it, and you don't have to say, like, oh, I didn't know that she was upset with me. Like, it's very clear. We're gonna make it very clear.
I think I was about to like label it as a con, but I suppose that's a pro though. Like it's like a pro and con thing, but like that's definitely a pro. Just being able to know like how they feel just based on, well, like those things, like what you said earlier. The ears are pointed up, ears are pointed down, tail up, those kind of things.
Like, most human relationships have problems with miscommunication, right? Like, I didn't know what my partner was feeling. So, if you're with a beast man or a demi-human, then you don't really have that excuse, but on the other hand, the communication will probably go a lot smoother.
Yeah, definitely. It feels normal that beast people are more straightforward. Then again, the problem isn't always like with the beast people, it's with the person they're with. For example, Shield Hero. The protagonist there is dense as hell. We have to admit. He cannot like detect the emotions of freaking, what's her name again? Raftalia, like for the life of him. Raftalia is obviously heavily madly in love with the guy, and the guy is just, I like her, she's a friend. Like in like so many scenes.
Clear. Like,
yeah.
You'll see her tail movements, you'll see her ear movements, like you can tell.
Yeah, not only, and of course like not only because she does the cliche anime of like blushing every time he like says something like vaguely romantic, but also because of how she conveys herself. Her tail wagging, her ears like puckered up. It is great. Speaking of ears, one issue that Zeno I think brought up in like the early monster video was ears, and like the problem with like some animators like having two sets of ears for some demi-humans, which I just find hilarious.
Oh, right,
like
yeah.
they have human ears and they have cat ears on their head. Cat ears, animal ears, bunny ears, whatever.
So
that's
you're
weird.
So like Raftalia, you're basically leaning more into kimono Mimi when you're saying that, right?
Yeah.
Which
definitely.
Literally just means animal ears. Kimono, animal, beast, Mimi, ear.
Yeah. But at least in Raftalia's case, they did make it clear that she does not have human ears. Like when there was like a sound danger, I completely forgot already. She was actually covering her top ears. Unlike in plenty of anime wherein they show like a cat girl and she has like normal human headphones. They don't fit up there. They're not
That's
like
why
on
I know it's not a case of 2 years, but that's why I think that Zootopia had really good detail
Definitely.
with Judy Hopps and like actually having the earbuds in her ears.
Yeah, that one meme that everyone keeps sharing around about how good Zootopia was, like based on the details, like having those
I mean,
those earbuds.
I've seen regular furry art do that wrong. They'll have like a regular fox, but they have their headphones where their cheek fur is.
That sounds dumb. Okay, this is actually somewhat related, but unrelated. I actually became deaf on my left ear like years ago, but I'm good now. Like I was deaf for like 2 weeks, I think. That's because of like an ear infection. But like while I was deaf, I actually created this design for headphones, right? But the way that these headphones look like, they look exactly like the cliche anime cat ear headphones. But those things actually had a use because I found out that speakers and microphones actually use the exact same components. You just have to like wire them up differently. So
interesting.
Those headphones were not supposed to be speakers. They were supposed to be receivers, and they were supposed to like. If I only had like the proper knowledge, I could have like created those headphones and did it in such a way that it would like target my right ear, my ear where I can still hear. So I based the design from cat ears, obviously. Cat ears because that's the most common, whatever. But those ears were supposed to function as my artificial ears while my left ear is still healed. So yeah, I was gonna make like cat ear headphones that were actually functional, and not only because I was a weeb. Because I wasn't a weeb yet.
Well, I don't know. That might be a design worth exploring more someday.
I'm still definitely gonna try like working on it eventually. Like once I figure out how amplifiers work.
Yeah, don't give up on it.
But yeah, they were an actual medical device, and I did like follow why those ears are pointed forward. It's because they receive like better audio like from the front, which I still do have to like do more research on. Like human ears are like directly on our sides, but like cat ears, dog ears, and like other predators' ears, their ears are like basically on the front.
Yeah. I mean,
There's probably a reason for that.
Much easier to pick up on things, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I suppose that's just a whole like colony that's probably based on primates and like how humans evolved, how demons evolved, and so on. Anyway, going back, what do you think is like a life? What would a male human? Okay, sorry. What would a life of a male human be around a furry or around a demi-human? What do you think their life would be like?
I guess it would depend on what species of furry or demi-human we're talking about, because
Fair enough.
each one is sort of going to have their own quirks and traits and such. Like, life with a mouse furry is going to be way different than a life with a cat or dog furry, right? And then the other thing that you should probably also consider is like, who does she know? I mean, if there are other furries or demi-humans in this world, who does she know? Who is she going to have like a natural predatory instinct to? Who is she going to consider beneath her? Those are all things that you should probably watch out for. Like,
that's true.
You don't want to be dating a cat furry, looking at a mouse furry while you're on a date with her and having her get jealous, not just because you're looking at another girl, but because it's a mouse and she considers that entirely beneath her. So it's insulting on top of that.
Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. I suppose that is kind of general though, because we can like keep going like forward with this. We can go like mice furries. They look down on rat furries, and then cats look down on mouse furries, and then we can say dogs look down on cat furries, and we can go maybe a wolf, or and then a lion, and then so on and so forth. But that's basically just like the food chain. That's basically just a food.
It is a food chain thing, but like, you know, even if we all agree not to eat each other, it's still all going to boil down to the ingrained personality a bit.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
Like a lot of people approach me and they ask if I'm like, if I meet another rabbit furry or another rabbit demi-human, they're immediately afraid of me. They think I'm like going to eat them or going to bully them or something, and I'm like, I have nothing against rabbits. I like rabbits. I think you guys are cute. But because I'm a fox, they're immediately wary of me.
Yeah, I think I can relate to an extent, like how some humans like are a bit weary of like demons because
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
just the
I think you
evil
were
thing.
explaining before that you've dealt with that before, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like
But
how
I think,
some. I think that's just like global. That is an issue that happens like in most places actually. Prejudice basically.
yeah, I think that but if you're dating a furry, then it's something that you have to be watching out for a little bit more, I think.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Well, we already made examples of those animal food chains, but we can also
Mhm.
point out on territorial because plenty of
Yep.
animals are territorial. We can go with wolves, cats. I don't think they aren't as territorial per se, but canines I know are definitely very territorial. I'm not sure
Yeah,
about wolfines
anything
though.
that's like anyone very family oriented or very pack oriented, I would say.
Oh yeah. But would you view wolfines as territorial, like foxes and such?
I wouldn't say as much as wolves. I think that's sort of like the ultimate in territorial. I wouldn't say that foxes are as territorial. A little bit, but not as much.
Ah, fair enough. Because how can I say this? Foxes aren't okay. In at least in Terra, foxes aren't exactly like the hyper aggressive, I can kill anything kind of creature. They seem to be more passive isn't actually the right word either because they are predators.
Yeah,
What
but
word am I looking
they're
for?
predators to smaller creatures, right? Like we kind
Yeah.
of know that we fit in the middle in
Yeah,
that
definitely.
line.
You're not on top of the food chain, you're like in the middle. Like
No.
solid middle.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go against the wolf, and I'm not gonna go
Yeah.
bully a bunny.
Exactly. It is of course like a per case to case basis because sure what lot of VTubers we've met a lot of them do have wolf drag. Okay, we've interviewed dragons before, and dragons do have the ability to like basically bully everyone below them, which is mostly everything, but they don't.
Yeah, and then they're also extremely territorial as far as I'm concerned.
Ah, yes. Especially with the episode about dragons, which you guys should definitely watch, wherein we interviewed Ja, and she did explain how dragons were so territorial that it's actually kind of terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely. But then again, they sort of hold on to like the most valuable things that you
Exactly.
possess. So, I mean, I can't fault them too much.
Yeah. You definitely cannot fault them because they do it from a sense of protecting what's closest to me with all the power I have, but I also have to be like benevolent with the power I use and how responsible I have to use it.
Exactly. And that's the other thing that I mean, I can't speak too much for dragons, but I think most of them are fairly benevolent. But in the same way that you were talking about demons, I think they're sort of seen as more aggressive than they are because of what they are trying to protect.
Yeah, true. But I suppose that just changes per case to case basis because there are some that are there are some that are the epitome of like Western dragons, which are just I am a monster, fear me. Then there's also those ones that follow the more Eastern relations, wherein they are benevolent creatures that I am above your petty squabbles kind of thing. But do not screw with me.
I mean, even with the Western dragons, have you talked to one? Do you know that they're just like I'm ready to fight, I'm out for blood, or are they also just trying to do the same things, but they're just misunderstood as well? I feel like a lot of Western dragons are sort of seen as the big baddie, but they really just want to be left alone.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just a lot of humans from mythology, history, and so on just knows that the dragons are strong and powerful and probably protect something precious to them that's even more precious to humans. So I
Yeah.
want that. I want that. It's basically what they say.
Yeah, and especially like going back with the humans, I think they consider a dragon themselves to be valuable. Like, if they could use that for transportation, or if they could use their scales for armor, so they don't really they
Yeah,
see
true.
the dragon as more of a resource.
That's
And
true.
if I
Yeah.
was a dragon, I wouldn't be happy about that either.
Yeah, that makes plenty of sense. But then it doesn't. Don't humans like view a lot of animals that way anyway?
Yeah, true.
Well, okay. Going back to like life with a demi-human. What do you think don't people expect? Like the thing that people just don't expect when living with a demi-human or beastmen or whatever.
Well, I think the typical ones are like furs getting everywhere. Winters are great. Summers are horrible. What else?
Yeah, I saw that makes sense. Well, I'm a demon and I already hate summers.
A fire demon, no less.
Yeah, this. If you think like summers are brutal on Terra, just imagine what they're like in hell. But basically hell.
I would not even know what to expect. I think one thing that people probably wouldn't expect is if you're dating a demi-human, you probably should be considering what your personality is, because I think a lot of demi-humans probably, for the most part, are more, like going back to the food chain thing, they're probably more attracted to people that are closer to their own species. So if you don't really match how, like, I know that that's just a relationship thing in general, right? Like, you have to have a common match. But you've seen a lot of relationships that are like, oh, she's really meek, or he's really strong, powerful, or vice versa. She's really powerful and he's really meek. I think that with furries, it can be a little bit of, I want to stay within what I'm familiar with in the animal kingdom. So, like, if
that
you're
makes sense.
really meek, you'd probably get along really well with, like, a rodent type furry. But if you are more of a, strong, powerful, you might be able to handle a larger animal like a lion or a wolf or something. But I mean, that's sort of a generalization as well. I'm sure that there's plenty of wolves that can get along well with humans who are a bit more shy.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It's really it really just depends on what kind of what kind of personality matches your thing, which is also a reason why I decided to make this show, Waifus Weekly, wherein we can analyze on what type of potential waifu you could get that matches a personality that you enjoy. One thing that people don't expect is cheetah demi-humans. Mm-hmm. They are remarkably shy. They are the fastest thing. They are the fastest creature, like to run, at least on their legs. But they are remarkably shy. They need support, and they need like emotional support. They need social, to socialize. That's something people don't expect from a cheetah. But the opposite is true when it comes to wolves. They can socialize and they do enjoy staying around with friends, but they can also be alone, and that's just up to the type of that's down to the type of wolf they are. Lone wolves.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's just like plenty of variations that you can go to, which is why this demi-human episode is just meant to be a more general sense. Okay,
you could run into a demi-human who's like a rabbit but has the personality of a wolf, you know? There's no real predicting at all.
It changes per case basis, but there's of course some things you might expect from one. Like what you said earlier with the rodents being meek. Another thing is, let's say,
I've seen rodents who can wield a sword, and I'm not messing with them.
Oh, definitely. We've seen like plenty of rodents that are actually like remarkably like better than we think they are. Actually, one thing I should probably mention is that raccoon girls are actually not like disgusting. they're not dirty. They're not like. No,
they're actually extremely well kept.
Exactly. That's the thing that people don't expect. They actually tend to wash their food, and that's why there was that one joke about they gave a raccoon like cotton candy, and it immediately like tried to like wash it. That was so sad, but also so funny.
No, that would be
Uh,
interesting. Like, you bring home the groceries and you have a raccoon girl, and she insists on washing your food like 4 times, and it's
Oh
like ready to
yeah,
fall
that
apart.
was so. I want to see that in an anime, like anything, comic, anime, TV show. I want to see that.
She's like, I
That's
got some expensive fragile raspberries for dessert. She tries washing them, they all fall apart in the sink.
Ooh. No, it would be terrible if they tried washing meat. You're not supposed to wash meat.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
interesting.
I
Now that would
think
be that's also an interesting point that you bring up meat. Depending on like what kind of demi-human that you're dating, you're probably gonna have to not only respect different food choices, but probably wouldn't be able to have any of certain foods in the house. Like similar like if you're dating someone who's vegetarian, they might be able to accept that you eat meat yourself, but
Mhm.
it might not be the case as much with an animal. It might be like, no, please don't have that in the house at all, period.
That's fair. Okay. What thing I do like this somewhat relates to it, but in the comic, sorry, in the manga, like chubby elf or elf can't die. The title changes like depending what language. The original is elf can die. Anyway, one of the characters there is actually an orc girl, but they are considered like they're called pig elves because they share more pig-like features. If you potentially have a pig girl with you, and don't worry, she's adorable and she's like absolutely unremarkable. Anyway, if you have her like in your home, you cannot eat pork. She will freak the fuck out if you eat pork. She will probably scream and yell at you about do not eat the piggy. Piggies are cute,
Yeah.
those kinds of things.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's a little bit more drastic, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. It's well, of course, that just to clarify, it is factual that many herbivores are actually opportunistic omnivores, which means that if there is meat in front of them, they would eat it. But that doesn't mean that that's their diet. They can still change their diet.
Yeah,
And they can still stick to the always only eating like veggies kind of thing, vegetarians, veganism, and so on.
Yeah, I think that would probably be more like a desperate situation.
Okay, also like just to add on to this, if you could probably like wear something fur related, but just make sure that it is synthetic fur. Do not bring home like a rabbit skin jacket. That will probably lead to a breakup.
Can you imagine? That would be horrible.
That is so insensitive. Like, jeez.
I think that one would be pretty obvious though. Like if you're dating a girl with fur, you don't need to go out and buy a fur jacket. Now that's an interesting. That brings up an interesting point. If you were in a world with, like, if you were dating a furry or demi-human and it was just very commonplace, would fur jackets be sold anywhere?
I think it would depend on what kind of fur jackets we're talking about, because I can actually definitely imagine like a wolf girl wearing a rabbit skin jacket.
Jeez. That I feel like that would cause problems, or it would be like a very clear "stay away, do not mess with me" sign.
I think that okay, that's true. I think that's like that world's equivalent of wearing a leather jacket with plenty of studs.
Yeah. That's interesting. Like, you see a wolf girl and she's wearing rabbit fur, and it's essentially the equivalent of like having a biker gang outfit.
Yeah. Okay, that actually sounds kind of cool though if you think about it. Like a bunch of like biker wolves like wearing fur jackets and leather jackets. Holy crap, that sounds kind of terrifying.
That'd be slightly horrifying. Yeah.
Right.
You have like an area where all the rabbits live, and they're like, don't go down this area. Don't go down this street.
Don't go down that road. That's not safe. You're gonna die. we won't see you in work tomorrow.
Yikes, that's dark.
It gets dark. But yeah.
Well, I mean, then again, so does the Animal Kingdom. So yeah.
The Animal Kingdom was brutal. Like if you watch like uncensored like Terran animal shows, they are terrifying. Like if you turn into like humans. Okay, let's pick a recent example. Thorntail. Thorntail is a reptile. Reptiles will eat anything. We know that.
Thorntail has shown me a chart of the everything that
Do you have this chart?
I'm sure if you asked him, he will send it to you. You can probably throw it up here, but essentially, from what I am aware of, lizardmen just don't have any preference. You have, like, the humans that'll see, like, dragon, wolf, fox, bunny, fairy, elemental, and then Thorntail's just like, food,
Meat.
not food, might be food.
Food, maybe food, too spicy, but we'll still eat.
Ask him for that chart. He has no problem showing it to people.
Okay, I will definitely post it here in case I get it in time. But yeah, just thinking about the different layers in the animal in the like food chain, just on how much those things will definitely affect like your probable relationships with a demi-human.
Yeah. Now that would be interesting. Like, imagine if your boss is also a demi-human and you sort of have to figure out your way around work with all of those situations going on.
Actually, I was gonna bring up a similar point to that. Imagine if your boss was like a dog human, and like to get a promotion, just do head pats.
Oh, we don't always get it. It doesn't do everything.
Well, how about like neck scritches, those kind of things, like fluffing their tail? Well, I suppose fluffing their tail is a more intimate thing, but yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely a bit more. I'm just laughing at the idea of you getting a promotion because you just go up to your boss and start petting their head out of nowhere.
Who's a good boss? Who's a good boss? Promoted.
I would think we have a little bit more control than that.
Okay. How about the complete opposite? What if the boss is human and the worker is the...
What? This is accepted. You don't like this? I thought everyone liked this.
The worker like stays up for extra hours and to finish a project, and the pat on his back is literally just a head pat. Good boy. Who's a good boy? Who's gonna get a promotion? Who's gonna get a promotion?
Really appreciate it. Oh, jeez.
That is demeaning, but I enjoy it.
And I would think we have a bit more self-control than that.
Yeah, definitely. But that would still be funny, like placed in a like a business situation, though.
Oh my god. You know, I get that we're animals. I get that we look like animals, but I think that with sort of the demi-human aspect of us, can have... We don't always get thrown off that easily.
Okay. One example that we should probably like bring up, of course, is that show BoJack Horseman, which is very famous for having depictions of humans and animal life without actually like focusing on it too much. But some of the scenes there, we have to admit, is pretty funny. One I want to point out is actually the deer scene.
I haven't seen it, so I apologize.
Okay, that's fine. Just imagine like you're just driving down the road and there's like just a guy just like walking, and he sees a bright light. That guy's a deer light and just like freezes at the light, just looks at you, and of course you end up hitting him.
Deer in the headlights. Oh boy.
Exactly. And then they complain, "What the hell are you doing out here just driving? Why are you just walking and stopping on the road? Why the hell are you driving at night? Why the hell are you here?" It's just this weird back and forth. I love it, but it also brings up a good point that there are some quirks that animals have that you probably may not want to have in a romantic relationship, let's say. For example, if your wife is a cat girl, again, which I'm gonna keep bringing up over and over again, I'm not a fan of having a cat girl as a wife.
Standards, so.
Well, yeah, but also add to the fact that imagine that she kills something and she just brings it to you just for you to see.
Look what I brought you a present. Don't you love me?
It's just a dead rat. Well, I suppose
now
that could also... that could also like be turned into like a different thing. Like they would also like view you as like unable to feed yourself, so they can also like be more giving, which could be a pro, but that's not guaranteed.
Depending on what you want. Now imagine if like the neighbor was also a rat and they just see this. They see your cat girlfriend opening the door to your house with like a tiny rat in their hand.
Okay, we okay, just of course that they don't have to like feel the exact same emotions as we saw from like a show such as Monster Musume. There were like so much there when the monster girls like went to the market, all the market sellers started freaking out. We cannot sell birds, we cannot sell fish because they have a mermaid and a harpy with them. But they don't feel the same way. That's the reason. Well, we have like eagles who hunt down smaller birds. We have fish that eat smaller fish and such like that. We can also have that could potentially be a thing, but do it in a way that's also tasteful. Basically, you cannot just like absolutely stomp on a rat and just look at your like mouse neighbor and just him not feel anything. That's like gonna freak him out.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, how would pest control work?
Oh my god. Okay, imagine just pest control and they just like you have like a rat infestation. All they do is just send in a bunch of cat girls. I want to see that. I want to see that. We have a rat infestation. Okay, send in the Nekos, and they just like come out of the van like SWAT teams, like a SWAT team just hunting them down.
Like clown car style.
Yeah.
Oh
Go! We got an infestation over here.
Oh, that would be a sight for sure.
Oh my god, we're coming up with so many ideas. Anime producers, please get on this. Manga writers,
Listen
anybody.
to Casey, he'll make you rich. He'll make you rich with the absurd ideas.
Oh, pest control with just freaking cat waifus. Well, okay, how messed up would it be if it was like, let's say... Oh my god, I really don't want to bring this up, but I feel like I have to.
What? I'm nervous now.
Airport security, and there is just fucking like, and like the airport security is just like a dog person, and they had to like sniff up like in your entire body searching for drugs or bugs. Like placing their snouts just right up in there. Oh, do you have like some drugs in your armpit? Nope. How about your other armpit? Nope. How about your neck? No. How about your belly? Nope. How about your and so on.
Jeez. Oh, I was not expecting it to go there, but.
Oh, but yeah, that's what I didn't want to say. But I had to say it.
It's a fair concept. I'll give you that. Now here's an interesting one. If you had like, you know, your cat SWAT team getting rid of the infestations,
yeah,
would you then have like neighboring mice and rats protesting protesting and like vermin control?
Oh, that is awesome.
Someone needs to like get rid of an infestation, and you got like a bunch of mice with pickets.
Picket signs. Freedom to mice. Oh my god. That's basically like a type of special tensions, I suppose we can say, which did kind of happen in Zootopia, and we did kind of see how that worked out.
Yeah, but I'm wondering, like, in terms of like a demi-human versus the actual animal, like how close
definitely.
do you think that we would find ourselves to each creature? Like, that walk on four legs.
I think the best example we can go with is how humans reacted when they discovered that plenty of pharmaceutical companies were treating monkeys.
Okay, that makes sense.
A lot of humans do see monkeys as a type of cousin. That's somewhat understandable, but it can also just boil down to just pure animal abuse, which of course is another factor. But then we have to relate that some of these creatures really genuinely are pests. Like
you
rats.
tell that to the rat girl. I'm not going to.
Fair enough. That's fair.
That's your funeral.
But a rat girl at least like has some sentience and doesn't just steal everything. Okay, if a rat girl steals something, that makes him a criminal. That's a whole different problem. That's a whole different issue. That is just a crime. But if you only attack rats, that's a hate crime. That's a whole different thing.
Oh man, get into weird territory now.
We're getting to hella weird territory. Anyway, let's just jump back into why these waifus would be amazing.
There you go.
Or I suppose the opposite. What things that people should probably be more aware of? I think one of the things that we should definitely point out is, of course, cleanliness. Because dealing with fur is 100 times more difficult compared to like how humans do it. Because imagine hair care, but throughout your entire body. Shampoo, conditioner, brushing, something like that.
Think of the cosmetic industry, though.
Oh my god, the cosmetic industry is gonna just get so much money out of that.
It would be like such a saving grace.
And just imagine like dye, like hair dye, but they have like 1 kilo boxes because that's your whole body.
I mean, there are people who don't think that my blue fur is very natural. They think I'm just a dyed fox, so.
I mean, I can see why.
I mean,
but,
I can
I can
understand what you're saying. There would be a lot of upkeep. It would be very expensive. Very expensive.
I suppose if once you reach winter, you're gonna be cozy as hell.
Yes, for sure. Very nice to just sit by the fire. Especially if you had like a wolf girl with you or something.
Oh, definitely.
Very bushy.
Crap.
Imagine having like a polar bear girl with you.
Oh, that's awesome having a polar bear girl. Well, any bear girl actually. Just anyone with massive amounts of fur, or at least just massive amounts of. Okay, I know this is always taken out a bad light, but body fat is actually very good in the animal kingdom for maintaining heat, which is the reason why a lot of bears like try to eat so much so that they can burn through fat during the winter, like when they hibernate.
Yeah.
That being said, sorry, you're saying?
No, go ahead.
That being said, if you put this into human standards, that means they would be the perfect person to cuddle up during winter, like with the fur, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what were you gonna say?
I was just, I think I lost my train of thought, but it kind of reminds me
of,
what's the Philolial? Back to Shield
Philo,
Hero?
yeah. The Philolial, yeah.
Yeah, just like that giant amount of fur and feathers, that warmth that you can literally fall into.
Yeah. Wasn't there that one joke about how she how she potentially like ate the princess and they just had to like keep it a secret? But then they actually bring up how she was just like really deep into Philo's fur. Oh, that was hilarious.
I can't blame her. I mean, that fur looks softer than mine.
Exactly. It wasn't fur, it was feathers. Like really thick
like
feathers.
It's like the down feathers. It's the really furry, feathery material.
Yeah.
It's not like the surface feathers. It's like that extremely like what your pillows are made of.
Yeah, basically. It's just okay, we just have to point out that there are different types of feathers, and a bird it's a standard bird can already have like 5 types of feathers. So just imagine like something that size and having basically having the feather capabilities of a chicken, but like 100 times thicker.
Yeah,
and also massive.
Chickens are fluffy. Chickens are
exactly.
soft, and there's even different types of chickens that are like fluffier than others.
Oh, definitely. I've seen some chickens, and I think they actually have fur. Like I legitimately think that they have fur sometimes because of just how like poofy it is. But then that's also like part of the maintenance thing, like having to do feather care, take care of parasites, as we brought up when you were on burning questions.
Yeah, luckily I don't have that problem, but that's just a specific spirit thing. That's unfortunately not the case for other animal waifus.
Definitely, but just to be clear, lot of beings do have to deal with parasites, but I suppose it would be okay. This is actually just a back and forth thing. If demi-humans had to like lived in modern society with fur issues like parasites such as ticks, fleas, etc. There would probably be an industry like medical industry that would probably create like a way to deal with that. So
That's
we
what I was
don't.
thinking. Like they'd put so much more resources into that.
Yeah, definitely. Like, well, cleaning. Like we already have with plenty of pets, like in our universes, like how to deal with their issues. Well, mostly dietary, but we can also go with like fur. We can go with ticks, lice, even if I'm surely in if Thorin had to deal with like parasites, it would probably be dealt with some type of anti-parasitic whatever, like to deal with leeches perhaps.
Oh, that's an interesting creature to bring up for a variety of reasons.
Oh, what do you say?
We are friends with somebody who is a little too obsessed with leeches.
What? Okay, whatever. Okay.
Sorry.
We're
It's
gonna
like
put
all
a
I think
pin
of
on
now,
that.
so I apologize.
It's fine. Okay,
No,
well, anyway.
actually, I think I remember Thorntail saying that he actually likes the taste of them. Like, that wouldn't be a problem. He would just eat them.
Okay, yeah, fair. But like, imagine like a human living in like a world where there's like tons of leeches. They would probably like come up with a way to remove them, or like a way to deal with them at least.
Or the lizardmen.
That's also true. Just getting the lizardmen to eat
It would be like, it's like your cat brigade for your rat infestation, your lizardmen brigade for your leech infestations.
Holy crap, that would be awesome, actually.
Yeah, like different animal brigades depending on which issue you've got.
Wasn't there like that one joke about how there was a mouse infestation, so they brought in the snakes. Then there became a snake infestation, so they brought in the mongoose. There was a mongoose infestation, so they brought in like something else.
Oh, just keeps going and going until we're back to bears, probably.
Yeah, it's always gonna be bears or wolves, or like just chemical warfare, but that's a whole different thing.
Oh, jeez, no.
Actually, I do remember this thing about how we just completely went off topic, but there's this thing that happens in Chinese farms wherein they have like insect infestation. So the way they deal is that they release the duck brigade, but that's an actual thing. Like they release like hundreds of ducks, and they are so light that they don't trample on the rice. They don't trample on the rice plants, but they just eat. They just eat.
Brigade.
But the thing is that the problem with this is that every year, if they keep doing this, they can never be reused like the next year because they get too fat.
Oh.
They become too fat and they trample over the rice, so they have to use a new set of ducks next year. And it's hilarious, but it's really dumb, but also really it's organic. And it also fertilizes the plants apparently, but yeah, it's that's a whole different thing. But it's basically the same concept.
There you go. So next time you have a bowl of rice, you can imagine that maybe a duck waddled across it.
Exactly. Just imagine that one, I already forgot her name, but that one duck, that one VTuber with her pet duck. Well, anyway, do you have any last things you can probably say about like demi-humans? Like something that the humans might not, humans, viewers, whatever species may need to know about when considering a relationship with a demi-human.
I would say just basically being careful of the world around you more. I think that demi-humans are going to be a lot more sensitive to that kind of thing. They're probably going to notice things that you don't. Listen to them if they point that kind of stuff out. Watch their body language and just be more in the moment, I would say.
Okay, I think that's the best way we can put it. So
overall, I think there's still a lot of positives. So,
Oh yeah.
Definitely not something to overlook. Definitely consider demi-humans. They'd probably love to meet you.
Oh, definitely. And plenty of, well, any species, including humans and demons, would probably like to meet them too.
Are you trying to say something?
Hmm? No. Just saying.
All right, fair enough.
Anyway, thank you for coming onto the show. I hope you enjoyed your time here on Waifus Weekly.
Yeah, it's a lot of
And-
fun.
Yeah. Okay, well, back to the video. So as you can see, with these fluffers, they are definitely a unique breed of waifu. So just remember, when dealing with waifus, these kinds of waifus, make sure to watch out for the tail and give lots of head pats.